So welcome to a new video about the contactor, and this video is divided into three parts for easy understanding. The first part will be about basically understanding what a contactor actually is, looking at the visual look of a contactor, how it actually looks. And the second part will be divided about the internals on how the coil is and how a magnetic field is generated and all those things. And the third part, the most important part, towards the end of video I'm going to cover about the automation industry, how actually it is used in automated plants nowadays. To say I want to control a motor sitting in my control room, I have a computer in front of me and I just want to make a few clicks, and this motor should start automatically at some 500 meters or maybe a kilometer away from my place. How all these remote operations happen, we are going to understand further in this video. So let us get further into the video and try to see the basic definition of the contactor. So basic definition says a contactor is an electrically controlled switch used for switching electrical power circuit. The definition is very vague. Let us try to understand it. What do you understand by an electrically controlled switch? So an electrically controlled switch means a supply to the electromagnetic coil inside the contactor will be given, which will help in the switching of power. So if you see the contactor, what it will have is, it will suppose I have a three-phase contactor, it will be having three NO contacts like this. Minimum, I'm saying 3 NO contacts will be there, and it will be having two contacts for the coil. There will be a coil and two contacts generally denoted by A1 and A2 will be there. So according to the definition, it is electrically controlled means as soon as I supply an electrical voltage in this A1 and A2 coil, what will happen is these normally open contacts are going to close and the switching will happen. Means if I have connected the phase RY and B here, as soon as this supply is made, these RYB can be obtained here, and in case the supply fails, this will again open and a zero potential could be obtained here, right? So this is basically what electrically controlled means. We'll further see the image of the contactor and try to understand further. Let us understand it a little bit using the analogy of a switch. What does a practical home switch do? It basically connects the line to the bulb once it is manually switched on. So if a person goes there near the switch, he just switches on the switch manually so that this light bulb can glow. The same thing can be done by the use of contactor, but this man can be sitting in his room in front of a computer and he just clicks it from the room and the light bulb glows. Wow, how wonderful can it be, right? So this is what can happen. This is what is the power of a contactor. So let us see what a contactor actually is. So if it is manually punched, a current will flow and the bulb will glow. This is what will happen, right? Looking at the contactor, as I told you, three minimum terminals will be the L1, L2 and L3, and these are the second terminals of T1, T2, T3, and we basically have a normally open contact here. This is the normally open contact we have here, and these are the terminal A1, A2 that I have told you. These in here the coil is connected. So as soon as I connect a voltage here, what will happen is a current is going to flow through this terminal into the bulb and the bulb will glow. Now to supply this particular voltage, I can be sitting at about 500 meters from there, and by using the cable I can send the supply. So from a distance of 500 meters, 1 kilometer, sometimes 5 kilometers, it can be switched on, and sitting at the convenience of my home, I can control my industry. This is how it works. So now let us try to learn a little bit further. Let us get into the internal workings of a contactor. The working principle. If you see the contactor from inside, these are the terminals. The L1 terminal, this is L2 terminal, this is L3 terminal, this is the plunger. This particular part is the plunger, and this has the basic job to make or break the contact. If this plunger moves forward, these three contacts along with the plunger will move and the current can flow with these contacts, right? So this is how it is done. Let us understand it with an animation. As soon as I connect a voltage source here, what will happen is a current will flow through here and the magnetic field is going to be set up. This magnetic field will attract this particular plunger in this direction, and what we will see is the contact can be made. So this R will be available here and this Y will be available here, B will be available here, which could be connected to a motor, or in my case, if you have watched a previous video, we have talked about the reactive power compensation, about the power factor management using the capacitor bank, in which there's continuous requirement of switching of capacitor on and off, and these contactors, which are these switches which are being used to switch the capacitor to the bus or off the bus, are basically contactors which are controlled by reactive power controller. If you have learned in the previous video, if you have not, it is in the information here, kindly go there. So now let us move further and get to the important part. And definitely, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming with a lot of these videos in the coming days and it will be very helpful to you, I promise. So please subscribe. Now let us move about the the automation part. So as I was saying, this guy who is sitting at home in front of the computer, I'm not very good at drawing, but yeah, I'll try. So he's just sitting in his chair, cozy chair, and he wants to, oh, I'm very bad at drawing actually. Okay, fine. So this guy thinks of starting motor number 1, M1. So what he does is he just clicks here on the software interface. This basically is a software interface. What the software interface will do is it will command a PLC. PLC will be commanded. A PLC is basically a programmable logic controller, which could be understood as an interfacing unit between the digital world and the field or the real world. So as soon as the PLC gets the command, this is the PLC basically. So it has input channels, it has output channels. The input channels are commanded by the computer and the output channels give the command to the field elements, and the field elements are a lot of elements are there. We'll understand it slowly. So the field element that we are talking about here is the relay. So this PLC is going to give a command to the relay. So this basically is a relay. Let us try to understand relay a little bit. It also has switching property. You see this load terminal, it is a NO terminal, and as soon as I supply a voltage between these terminals, the input voltage of around 3 to 32 volt DC, as soon as it is applied between these terminals, this NO contact will become NC, and the phase which is available here could be available here, and the further connections can be made to the load, and in this case the load is the contactor coil. So now if I move further, this relay is going to command this contactor, it will command this particular coil, and accordingly the closing of contactor will happen and we can make our motor rotate, or we can switch on the power to the motor. Let us see how the connection diagram will happen. This will give the command to PLC, the PLC will give command to the relay, and once a 24 volt DC voltage is here, this phase through this particular terminal will get connected to the contactor's coil. Here the coil will get energized and the plunger will close, and automatically the 3 phases which are here will be given to the motor, and the motor will definitely start rotating. So this is how the interfacing happens. Let me tell you once again. This computer will give command to the PLC. This PLC will send a 24 volt supply to this terminal of the relay, and as soon as this input gets supplied, this NO contact will become NC and the current will flow through this path, and it will energize the coil, which will further energize the contactor, and it can be connected to the load, which is the motor in our case. So this is how the automation part happen. All these things can be done by the use of a cable. You can go to 5 km, 500 meters, whatever you want. A cable of that length will be required. So now let us talk about the basic learnings we have. The basic learnings we have had is about the functioning of a contactor, how a contactor works, how the NO contacts are converted to NC as soon as the coil is energized. This is what we have learned, the working principle, the internals we have seen, the coil, the magnetic field, the plunger gets pulled in, and the contacts are made. All those things we have seen, right? And the practical implementation, how actually a computer, a PLC, a relay, and a contactor can be used to control the loads, in the sense to switch the loads, and to be generalized, only motors cannot be switched. Everything can be switched. Motors, capacitor banks, heater, or whatever load you can think of can be switched. You just have to take care of the rating of a contactor. The contacts of the contactor have a definite rating, current rating, beyond which the contacts are going to melt and the contactor will get damaged. So you have to take care, you have to read the contactor specification properly, and the current rating should be generally say 32 ampere, 16 ampere, or sometimes the rating is in volt ampere, which is basically the load. So burden, generally in technical terms we say it burden. So if the burden is 300 VA, you just say 3000 VA, you just cannot exceed a burden of 3000 VA through this contactor, otherwise the contacts are going to be burned out. So this was all for today. Happy learning, and please, if you enjoy my video, kindly subscribe to the channel. It will be very appreciable and very helpful. Thank you very much. Signing off.